This clip demonstrates the tools available in Priority for sales executives who need to track sales and order data and target compliance in real time. We will cover the following topics: sales rep hierarchy and territories, compliance with sales targets and order targets, commission agreements, sales forecasts, marketing campaigns, keeping track of sales representatives, and executive reports. Let's start by setting up some basic definitions, such as the hierarchy of sales representatives and sales territories. Individual sales reps are defined in the sales representatives form, together with all of their personal information and their relationship with other sales reps in your organization. You can also run the sales rep hierarchy report to view the entire hierarchy of sales reps for specific sales teams. Setting up hierarchies makes it easier to define targets and commission agreements for each sales team, as definitions are rolled up from the individual sales rep to the manager. In this way, compliance with targets will also be calculated in a bottom-up fashion. In a similar vein, you can set up a hierarchy of sales territories in the territories form, allowing you to easily review compliance with sales reps' targets and their territorial association.
Go. Priority lets you define and allocate targets to sales representatives in different territories and regions. There are two types of targets to choose from: sales targets and order targets. The type selected determines the data against which performance will be measured when evaluating whether targets are being met. Order targets reflect quantities and sums for which you expect to receive sales orders during the designated sales period, while sales targets reflect quantities and sums for which you expect to issue customer invoices or shipping documents during the designated period. Let's define a sales target for the organization's sales teams for the year 2011. We can then itemize the sales target either manually or automatically to reflect monthly targets for a specific territory and a sales rep or manager for specific customers or customer groups, and for specific parts or part families based on the sales performance and potential in each region.
Let's assume that Lauren Johnson, the sales rep manager for the Eastern U.S. sales territory, is responsible for the sale of various types of electrical appliances to wholesale customers in his territory. Let's further assume that Lauren works with a value-added reseller called 3Com on many of his sales, and therefore we want to maintain separate targets for sales that are completed through this VAR. Similarly, Energy Team is one of our largest customers in Lauren's territory, and we would therefore like to set targets for this customer independently of Lauren's other customers. To this end, we'll define both 3Com and Energy Team for inclusion in sales and order targets. Sales to other wholesale customers in this territory will be aggregated for the customer group. Note that in order to ensure that the relevant sales are taken into account when generating forecasts and analyzing target compliance for 3Com, sales personnel must be sure to record 3Com as the customer in sales opportunities and orders. A separate column is provided in these forms in which sales personnel can specify the end customer for a particular sale as well. We'd also like to highlight sales of some of our best-selling products by maintaining target data separately for these products. Thus, we'll need to ensure that sound systems in general, as well as AR wireless speakers in particular, are flagged for inclusion in sales and order targets. We can now record itemized sales targets for Lauren and his team. We'll begin by recording a line for sales of AR wireless speakers. Followed by a line for other sound systems. Next, we'll record a line for our two primary customers in this territory, Energy Team and 3Com. Followed by a line for any other wholesale customers. Finally, we'll record a line for any other sales that Lauren's team closes in this territory.
We can now update the target quantities and sums for each item that Lauren and his team are expected to sell. Note that each target item is added up to achieve the total sales target for the sales team. So, if we expect Lauren's team to sell 30 wireless speakers this year, that is in addition to 90 units of other types of sound systems. We also expect this team to close $21,000 in sales of other products to Energy Team, and the same amount again sales to 3Com. In addition to these sales, we expect the team to sell $120,000 worth of merchandise to other wholesale customers, and another $6,000 in sales to other customers in this territory. To sum up then, you can see the annual sales target for Lauren and his team here. Unlike other CRM systems that aren't part of an integrated ERP system, Priority doesn't have to rely on sales opportunities alone to determine whether a given target is being met. Instead, the system compares each target to actual past data, as well as to forecasts generated automatically from up-to-date sales data. So compliance in the past with sales targets is analyzed based on actual performance as indicated by existing customer invoices and unbilled shipping documents for the period, while compliance in the future is based on performance estimates as indicated by open order items and relevant sales opportunities. If this were an order target, then compliance in the past would be measured by actual orders and compliance in the future would be measured by sales opportunities. This affords a more accurate picture of the metric in question. as actual sales documents, such as orders and invoices, are taken into account rather than relying solely on the estimates that are recorded in sales opportunities. For instance, let's assume it's now the middle of the fourth quarter of 2011, and we ran the compliance report for the entire year. Compliance for the first 3 quarters will reflect actual data, invoices and shipping documents. In contrast, compliance for the fourth quarter will combine actual and projected data. Data for all past dates in the current quarter will come from invoices and shipments, while data for all future dates in the current quarter will come from orders and sales opportunities. You can also compare this year's performance with the previous year's performance during the same period. Compliance for the previous year is, of course, based solely on actual performance metrics, in this case, last year's customers' invoices.